It's just it's good. It kind of reacquaints you with the emotions and the business of it, and so it kind of makes you better at what you do. Yeah.
All right. Well, if we're here to talk about selling our own homes, I'm gonna need to get something. Just a little bit.
Where is he going?
A little bit stronger than this wine that we've got here.
We've been sitting here. We've been 30 minutes late to the party,
Yeah.
and you've had
I
Grey
know.
Goose in your bag the whole
Well,
time.
because this is a stressful topic.
It is a stressful. And I do want to apologize for anybody who tuned in on time. It was really technical difficulties, but it's just like realtors. We kind of pack a lot of stuff in anyway, and so sometimes we show up late, so we're just going to call it realtor time, right? It's
Yeah,
okay.
we'll take
That's
it.
okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
try.
I think we should kind of, as we start this too, take a minute and let all of our friends and family and clients that have become friends that are in that Bonnie Lake Sumner area know that our hearts are with them. And if anybody out there has any resources that might be of use to anyone that is going through
100%.
something in that area, let us know and we can get those out there through all of our platforms. But I know that I have a ton of friends and family and colleagues that are in that area, a lot who have been evacuated. I went to
It's
high
just
school
kind
out
of
there. It's crazy.
paralyzing. Like
nuts.
as all this information is coming in, you're just like, oh my God, like this is devastating. This is horrible. And it's paralyzing to know how to best help.
Yeah, it's
I
just one of
guess,
those things
so.
that you never think would happen to you. And again, luckily for us, we're not in that area, but it's
Yeah.
still.
But it's still close.
It's
It's
close.
These are our
close.
people.
It's close
These
to
are our
home,
people.
and we hear about it in California all the time. And to have it this close to home, especially when it's affecting people that you know and love, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
our hearts go out to you guys, and if you need
Yeah.
anything, please let us know.
100%.
We're here.
And we will, if you have anything to offer that can help in support of those, let us know, and we can push those out.
Yeah.
I think we should do a quick cheers as we get into this topic of selling our homes.
Okay, well, my wine's
If we're
almost
if we're
gone.
cheersing with the Grey Goose or the Prosecco,
Yeah,
not
either
sure.
or.
Not sure.
Cheers.
Mix.
So
What do you
yeah.
call that one? A realtor cocktail? Prosecco and Grey Goose? That's pretty good.
That's a realtor cocktail. It's like the White Claw and the vodka. You just.
So let's talk about selling homes because that's what we do. And we usually come with a formula and a pace and a system for selling homes. But how different is it when you do it yourself? Madison.
Well, I
go.
guess I was the first one to actually.
You
I
were.
never know where to look here, so I'm just gonna look at you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look at the camera. But yes, I was the first one to put my house on the market during COVID, and it was the weird time of COVID. Like I'm talking end of February.
It was
So
like right at the
we
start.
got back from Mexico, and people were like afraid to talk with us, and I was like, "What's going on here? Like, let's dive deep." And COVID started to really affect our area and our market, and I got kind of nervous. So I got back from Mexico. I was like, "I've got 5 days to put my house on the market." We did exterior paint, all the things that we tell sellers to do.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed to do it because I'm like, I'm not leaving any money on the table when it's time to sell my own house, number one. And number two, I knew a bunch of realtors were going to come through my house. And so I was like, this house needs to look really, really good.
There's
I
that
need
personal thing.
I need to walk the walk and talk the talk. So yeah, exterior paint, we did complete, we kind of just call it depersonalizing, right? Like when we know you're about to list your home, you're taking off all of those personal pictures and you're kind of just minimizing your life. I like to think I live my life like staged because
Welcome
you
to the
do.
club.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
You guys both. Like your houses always look show ready.
Oh,
And
but you know they
honestly,
look way better.
I'm just going to address the elephant in the room, and it's the folded toilet paper. And like I do
triangle
fold my
fold.
I do fold
Stop.
it. And this
She
is why
does.
like
That and Fabuloso.
not
I think you're on
only
vacation.
do I think it's going to sell your house for top dollar cuz it will.
Because it just will.
It will. But also, when you go to the bathroom and you look over at the folded toilet paper, you're just
Claps
like, here
all
I
around.
am.
It's like you're on
and
vacation.
you feel like you're on vacation or like that you've had your house cleaned, but it was really just you the last time you went to the bathroom folding the toilet paper. So, yeah. But all of the prep work, it's no joke. Like,
No joke.
It's stressful.
it's very
stressful.
stressful. And packing and minimizing. And it's just like every single corner of your house, you kind of almost have to tackle it like by room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I think
throwing
that
it in.
a lot of when we went to sell our house, our situation was a little bit different. You guys, as you went into your purchase and sale, had a plan. There was a little bit of forethought. For us, we were in a house that we thought we were going to be in for a long time. And being the realtors that we are, looking on the MLS every single
Ooh,
day.
look what just came up.
And dreaming and wishing and wondering, we had no intentions of moving at all. We bought the house
That's true,
in
actually.
2018 with a plan to renovate it, live there for 2 years, and sell it. Subsequently, fell in love with the neighborhood, the location, our neighbors. My sister lived 4 houses down, and we were there. And my husband would tell me every day, like, we're not going anywhere. We're not moving. We're not moving. We're not moving. We're not
Yikes.
moving. So he's like, I want to be here. This is where I like to be. Okay, deal. Then a little birdie flew onto my computer screen, and I went for a drive, and I took Jess with me, and I said, we're just going to go look at something. And if we're going to look at a house for us, stop the car, let me out. I'm like, mid-highway 16? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just want you to see the house. Like, let's get some ideas. It's totally our vibe, mid-century, contemporary. We walked through the house, and as I'm swooning over this house, Jess is walking around, hands folded, just
Pissed.
furious. And I'm like, isn't this cool? Like, pointing out all these features of our new house that I'm just obsessed with. And he was like, yeah, it's going to be a great house for somebody. And I was like, whatever. Next morning, getting my coffee, in the coffee line, Jess calls me, are we making a mistake by not buying this house? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Absolutely we are.
Can I just jump in here for 2 seconds and tell you that Miles and I kind of fire on the same wavelength, because the house that he's talking about was a house that I was like,
You swooned
as
over
soon
that for a
as
long
I saw
time.
it,
Yeah.
I was like, those round windows, all the wood, all the vaulted ceilings,
yeah.
the view,
Even
the
the
potential.
wallpaper, you were
I
swooning.
loved
The
the wallpaper.
wallpaper.
I
That's
liked
a topic.
it.
That's an wallpaper.
That's
volume
another-
3.
That's
Stay
just-
tuned.
Yeah. File it away.
But
But
so,
back to your journey.
Yeah, so then we anyways, we put an offer on the house. It was accepted. It was a contingent offer, which is volume 4. But what that did for us is put us in a situation where we had to go from not even thinking about selling our house to having our house on the market in 5 days. And I like to think that we live minimalist, but we don't. I'm a home goods advocate and a home goods supporter, and I live there and breathe there.
Not sponsored yet by Home Goods.
Yeah, not yet sponsored by Home Goods, but stand by. So for me, also being a realtor, you see houses every day, and we walk through houses, and it's more of not just listing your home, but understanding what it is that attracts people to a home. It's
100%.
It's a sensory. It's a sensory experience. So it's smells, sounds, looks, feels.
We all know that you had the Sonos on during your
You know
showing.
I
Let's
did
be
the
real.
whole time.
Let's be
Smooth
real.
jazz, you got it.
Tampa Bay
I'm
smooth
pretty
jazz,
soft,
to be
but
exact.
soft.
Actually, I think that Windmere has a open house
do.
playlist.
They do.
So I did actually play that the whole
Nice.
time. But
It says, buy me for full price.
Right. But even as a realtor, we spend all day telling people what they have to do to
Right.
sell their houses and to prepare for them. And it's no different for us in our personal homes. I mean, I didn't sleep. I lived on White Claw, and I cried. And, when we tell people that we're meeting with at a listing appointment that they have to rent a storage unit and they need to put half of their furniture in storage, it's not that we don't like their furniture, or it's not that we want to make their life difficult, but you're creating an experience for somebody, and
It's not about them anymore.
it's not about
Yeah.
you have to almost disengage from that house at the moment that you decide to sell it.
You
And
want to wake up like you want to wake up and look around and be like, wait, whose house is this? That's honestly what I wanted to feel like, almost uncomfortable, because the house needs to look unlived in.
Yeah.
or re-fall in love with your house again, which is what happened to me. And that's a whole other story. But
That's volume 6.
Yeah, volume 6. But no, you really do. I mean, we in a matter of 5 days, we cleared out half of our house and put it into storage. We finished our honeydew list that had been growing for 2 years. All those little stupid things that you're just like, oh, one day I'm gonna fix that outlet. One day I'm gonna scoot
Today.
that light over. One day I'm gonna put the screen back on that window. And I mean, they just, they're not that important, but when you're getting ready to list your house, it's all in the details. So, we had to knock all those things off of our list. And I think that for me, it was when you're done with it, you're like, why did I wait until I sold the house to do all these things?
Yeah, that is true.
Because
That is true.
as realtors still, and we do, it's all the things that you didn't do that need to be done.
Right.
And it's
I think the PSA actually for everyone watching needs to be all those things that you think you need to do them now.
Yeah.
Like just do them now so
it'll
that you
save
can
you so much heartache.
but like you can enjoy them.
Although when you live in your house, I have talked to so many sellers that they think they have to do X, Y, and Z, and then we come through and like
Yeah.
you really don't have to do that
Yes,
to
for
appeal
sure.
to the maximum buyer. But you guys, I mean, we had
Yeah.
kind of a little secret
Like,
sauce
oh,
because we know, because
yes.
we've been with
Yeah,
buyers
for
in
sure.
houses and we know what's going to attract them to it. So
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, it really is just when I'm at a listing appointment, or even with Jess, as he understands the real estate world. Obviously, we pillow talk all night long, but he knows that
Realtor pillow talk.
real
Okay,
pillow
I'm
talk.
sorry.
I mean,
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yikes.
And and even there's some points where Jess is like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm like, no, clean lines,
Yeah.
black mulch,
Yes.
sharp edges, just simple, clean. You want someone to come in and be like, easy maintenance. I can envision this there. It's when it's cluttered or there's too much stuff, too much plants, too many weeds, just clean lines,
Clean,
lines, all clean and simple,
Minimal.
and then minimalist. I mean, if that's what you can envision, then you basically want to walk into your house and be like, well, this looks like a model home.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what you're aiming for.
Exactly.
I think that getting your house ready to sell, this just came to me. I used to work at Nordstrom a long time ago, but it's like it is completely merchandising and it is completely Nordstrom. It's like, yeah, you have your stock room, which is your garage. Shove all your shit in your garage and your closets because who cares?
Yeah.
That's forgivable. But like those are the stock rooms, and on the floor, on the main selling, everything needs to look very minimal, very sexy, very specific. Like one thing. Less is more.
All the way.
And yeah, who doesn't? I mean, you go into Nordstrom and you're like, take my money, like
Yeah.
and that's what you want to create for a buyer.
Yeah.
Come
Well,
into
and I challenge
their
someone
house.
to walk into a house that is staged, or especially, I think the best kind of example of what we're talking about is if you go to a development and you walk through their model home. If you actually took the time and didn't do a 10-minute walkthrough and weren't overwhelmed by the sounds, the smells, the textures, the decor, and thought about the way that you live, you can't live that way. Half the
Right.
rooms don't have a dresser in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually there's no TV where you're going to put a TV, nor is there any TV console. There's maybe 4 shirts in the closet. And if
Right.
you live like Madison
Looks
and
great.
I,
Looks great.
in theory, that sounds fantastic. But they're really, you can't live the way that it's supposed to be staged.
Right.
And it does become difficult. And, Jess and I lived in our house while we had it on the market. And this is the first time that we've done that. Listed it and actually still lived there. So we literally packed our suitcases like we were going on vacation and put those aside and said, okay, everything else can go. And we boxed up all of our bathrooms. Our kitchen was completely empty. I mean, we had a little bit of food in the fridge and we had paper plates and plastic silverware. But because it's going to be way easier to move when the time actually comes.
Yeah,
And
we always tell people like
get
You're
half the
gonna
work
move
done-
anyway.
Yeah,
you're
get half
moving
the work done
you're
now.
moving
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, pack it up, get it
Yeah.
done. And it's really hard for me as an agent to convey how that translates into dollar signs for some
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
because
But let's talk about that for a minute because we are all in the industry. We all had hot homes to sell, and it's a seller's advantage in all of the price points that we were competing at. And people say, "Well, it's a seller's advantage. Why should I stage?" Go.
why should you stage?
Why?
There's 87,000 reasons why you should stage.
Volume 8.
Yeah, volume 8 staging. I mean, it's even
It's
as-
leaving dollars on the table. Like this is my thing for people. You walk into a empty room And like your eyes, you're just like, oh shit, like look at that cobweb, look at that nail pop. Oh, the trim's kind of uneven. Oh, I'm gonna have to
carpet's
do this
dirty in the
later.
corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you walk into a staged room and you're just like, cute couch. Okay, the couch doesn't come with the house.
Yeah.
But we love it.
You're like, I can
but
see myself
Yeah, but
being
that
there.
couch looks
and-
real comfortable.
And I also tell my sellers, we're not trying to hide anything, but we're creating an experience to sell your home. Where it's marketing.
Yeah.
And if you don't stage your house, someone's going to walk through and they're going to look at all these dings and they're going to look at the list that you thought you should do.
Right.
And that list, they're going to know about it.
Well, and I think another thing to think about too is like we don't always, and even as a realtor, I don't always use the spaces in my house that would appeal to the masses. For example, our house was a tri-level home. On the bottom floor, we had our office. Well, that's not really going. We're both working from home. We both run 2 businesses. So that works for us, and we have no kids. So that's a great scenario for us, but that's not what is appealing to the masses.
Yeah.
So even as a dreamer in the interior design world, I'm like a quasi wannabe. I still hired someone to come in and stage our house for us.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
And the home office went away. Because why? Because it's not as sexy
It's-
as a bonus room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had couches brought in and a TV and a bar. And again, that's not the way that we use the space,
Right.
but that's what appeals to the masses. And in addition to that, you know, the stagers keep an inventory and they rotate their inventory on what's trendy and what's popular. It's just like a renovation when you're flipping a house for a contractor. White subway tile, gray grout, white
what's on
cabinets.
trend.
Like they keep a full stock of what's on trend in inventory. Where as a homeowner, you know, you build your collection over time of furniture. And while yes, we try to make them work all cohesive and together, it sings a lot better when you can just take. I mean, imagine if you were just able to empty your house out and go straight to a furniture store and
buy
you know, Crate
everything
and Barrel
brand
and
new.
Pottery
Yeah.
Barn and redo your whole house in one
Goals.
day. How much more would you love it?
Yeah.
I mean, I try to do that every day, but then I get in trouble. But that's what I want to do. So
And buyers are savvy. Like, buyers watch Selling Sunsets and buyers watch Chip and Joanna. And, like, they know the trends and they love to see a house. They love to walk through a house and be like, this is how I'm going to live.
yeah, or dream that that's how they're gonna live.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
wish we lived
Yeah,
like that.
we all wish that we
Staged.
lived.
This
like
is
that.
staged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even
This room did not look like this 2 seconds ago. we
we-
wanted to create an experience because
we the first morning we woke up after we went on the market on Friday, and we had I think over the weekend 42 showings at our house. But Friday morning we woke up, house is on the market at 7 a.m. Jess walks out to the kitchen. He's like, "Whoa, where's an espresso?" And I'm like, "Oh."
We packed that.
Had a heart
look
attack.
good.
I was like, we had
everything
too much,
off the
you know, we
counters.
had too much things on the counter, and he's usually the one that's like, I don't want anything on the counters, and I try to display all my small kitchen appliances.
He has a closet for appliances.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to go completely right-hand turn because we're talking about all the pretty things, which is very, very important. But we didn't have an emotional tie like you did when
Yeah.
you sold your house.
Yeah.
That, the
Yeah.
heartstrings.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing. It was interesting because, when we bought this house and we moved out of our family house where we raised our kids, and there was a lot of emotion, and I'm super emotional, like homecoming parties and
I'm
prom
like, oh my God, is she gonna
parties
cry
and
now?
graduation parties, and the
we
whole
don't
thing
have
was
any
there.
tissues, Kay.
Yeah, I know. It was really hard. And when we bought this house, Dan wasn't totally sold on it. So I said, we'll rent our house. So we did rent it for a spell and then wanted to take advantage of the market. And here's the other thing that's interesting for pricing, for people thinking about pricing. Because I don't know, I know you and I had conversations about where you're going to price and you're looking at the market. But I will tell you, 8 months before I listed it, I had thought about listing it about $120,000 less. And then the market just kept telling me what was happening and what was happening and what was happening. And still, I probably think that I sold it for less than I should.
Well, we actually know that you sold it for less because the buyer sent over their appraisal and it was more.
But I know. Yeah, don't
Yikes.
ever do that. I think there's there's just an emotional component that goes with the home sale. And I think as professionals, we try to be really, we try to be empathetic to that too, but it's such a real thing. And I know and you could talk about this when you got into your house and you were like, what did I do? Because there's this thing, like, you're excited about selling your house, you get the deal, you negotiated through it,
Yeah.
and you're super excited about it. And then there's that afterthought. And I know that our buyers and sellers have this thing where they're like, oh shit, did I do the right thing?
What's the biggest? It's the biggest transaction,
It's the
or one
biggest-
of the
right.
ones
the
that you're
biggest.
either the biggest or one of the biggest
Yeah.
ones that you're gonna have in your life.
Yeah.
And buyer's remorse is real.
It's like the extreme scream or like a roller coaster. It's like
Because
strap
you
in
do.
because you're like, oh my god, the seller chose my offer, and
Yeah.
then you're like,
Cute.
I almost said the F word. But then you're like, shit, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And like, that's normal because
Yeah.
I had that.
And I
was like, wait, I don't want to sell my house anymore. I love my house.
I literally
It's so
had
good.
I want to, not with the house before this. I was like literally like sick, like physically sick.
Yeah.
That I was. But anyway, getting back to the negotiations too, because like I am an agent, but I was also a seller, and it was just so interesting to me because when the buyer went through and they're doing their negotiations and everything has remained nameless. But it was weird because some stuff came up on the inspections and I got so emotionally charged about it. I was just pissed. But it was good for me as an agent, but it was simple things. Okay. Like there were some springs in the window that didn't work and there was some discoloration in the roof. And the agent said to me,
There's a roof defect.
like, so you're not going to deal with the broken windows and the roof leak? And I was like, skewed. I just went
almost
from
lost
like,
my shit,
I
too.
like,
Yeah.
I just went like crazy. And I was so mad. Like, why are you using terms like that? There's no roof leak. There's no broken windows. Like, stop. But it did tell me, like, it reminded me of, our clients.
Yeah.
And
for
when we
sure.
give them an inspection response from a buyer and they're like feeling like it's like, and here's the thing, it's like kind of like calling your kids ugly. It's just like, wait a minute.
Hold on. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's not. She's cute. She's cute.
She's so cute.
Like, what are you talking about? Like broken windows. And so, I totally understand. It was good to reconnect with that.
And sometimes it feels like some things sellers actually don't know about. And you're like, oh, and the sewer.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God. I mean, some of these
I
big
flushed
things.
that toilet for 20 years.
Like,
There's
it's
no
fine.
problem.
What do you mean? It's fine. And you're telling me it's going to be $10,000 to fix it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like
getting
the
in touch with
peacock
that, yeah.
feathers. Yeah, getting
Yeah.
in touch with what.
And then just and of course there's the letting go. There's a letting go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a home is just so much more than the business transaction. It is,
Yeah.
maybe memories and maybe loss and, things about your life that, okay, where's the tissue?
Well,
I mean, like, honestly, like,
I think
it's a part
something
of your
about
life.
your transaction, I hate using the word transaction, but your sale that felt good for you is
Yeah.
it was a family and they were like, oh,
Yes.
our life in this house, they were going to make it in this house and we made it in that house. And so
Yeah.
even though their appraisal came in over value and like,
Yeah, if you're an
babe,
agent
like-
and you're representing a buyer and the appraisal comes in over the value that
Keep
you
it to
put-
yourself.
Please keep that to yourself.
Keep it to yourself,
Tell
Brenda.
the
Keep it to
listing
yourself.
agent. Don't tell the listing agent. But she did say one thing, like in all of this thing, and I was trying to, keep my perspective and everything. But she did say they never thought they'd get a house like this. Like, this is the house of their dreams. And then
That feels good.
That was the part where I was like, okay, yeah.
And we want to play hardball sometimes for our sellers. And so when buyers are sending in these letters, we always ask our seller because it sometimes like throws the negotiations all off. And do you want to read the letter from your future buyer? Like, are you going to read these letters or not? Are we going to look at the numbers? And like asking them is important because it just depends on the person. But our job is to get you the most money for your house.
Yep.
But also, if you want to read the letters, you might cry. Like,
Yeah.
you might fall in love
I
with the
mean,
FHA buyer
right?
who's
Who's got
$10,000 less.
Using
Like,
down payment assistance, and there's a lot of loopholes. But you know
but
what?
they love the shed in the backyard, and they're gonna turn that like into their play toy or whatever it is. You know.
I mean, when we sold
do
our
the
house,
letters.
we had
the
11
letters.
offers, and there were a lot of letters. And when Jess and I went through them, I was like, "We're not going to read the letters.
Good.
I don't want to
Because
read.
you shouldn't
I
read the
don't want to
letters.
read the letters because
Maybe
that's-
after.
after, and I'm really only going to read the letter of the one that I chose if they wrote a letter." because I don't want to feel bad. And
Yeah.
I don't want to have that carry
It's
that
hard
remorse
for
with me.
buyers. It is.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is an emotional experience selling your home. But in the same breath, you've chosen somebody to help facilitate this, again, transaction, but this process with you, and
journey.
they have a job, and their job is to make sure that you get the most out of your house that you possibly can. And there's other factors that go into it, but ensuring that it's going to close and that the transaction is seamless and it fits well with your next move,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. And it is hard. I mean, I want to read the letters. I want to be that person that gives it to the best person who writes a letter, but I've also seen people who send it to their mom to write the letter.
Who
And
aren't
then
very
I'm just like,
truthful.
oh man, like, ugh. I see like my buyers asking, well, my mom's a really good writer. I think I'm gonna have her write a letter. And I'm
Yeah.
like, nope, we're not.
Don't do it.
We're not doing that.
Slippery slope.
We're not doing
Yeah.
that.
No.
So I think for me and what I coach my clients on is I always say let's look at everything pre-letter and pick your top offer. If there's other ones that are extremely close, like that really don't really make a difference, as far as what you're netting as a seller, but maybe terms are a little bit, different slightly. If you feel obliged at that point to read the letters, go for it.
Yeah.
But I try to not look at them initially.
Look at them.
Yeah, it's
So,
hard.
a question for you guys. What was the thing? I always do this as a family thing.
Let's go around the table.
Let's go around the table. What was the one
This calls
thing
for some more champagne.
that surprised you in the transaction that you didn't expect to feel
Oh.
as an
I'll let you go first. You
Me
obviously
first.
have
You got something.
raging answer.
And I know that, again, it's a good look in the mirror when we're working with sellers, because my house, I was so good. The pictures were good. We were ready. We hit the market. And then I was on the market for 1 hour, and then 2 hour, and then 3 hour. And I was like, oh my God, we have no showings. Like freaking out. And then all of a sudden we started having showings, and then agent feedback. And I was like, okay, well, we've had back-to-back showings. No one's telling me that they love my house. No one's telling me that they want to offer over asking for my house. What the heck? And as agents, we know sometimes buyers walk through the property and it might take them a minute or so. And sometimes we're so busy that we don't get back to the other agent right away. And so just managing the expectation of just because your house is listed doesn't mean 2 seconds later the door is breaking down and you're going to have offers. Although it's a hot market. It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. And so I had a couple showings and my panties started getting in a bunch because I was like, why don't I have any offers? And I didn't have an offer review date either, because I think that can kind of jinx you sometimes on the market. I just listed and I was right. I was like, okay, am I going to list at 415 or am I going to list at 4? And I really needed 415. But I'm like, you know what? The house looks good. I don't want to overshoot it. I'm going to list at 4. And the market always responds. If you overprice it, people are gonna swipe right. They're not looking at your house. But if you can appeal to a plethora of buyers and get into this position of power as a seller where you have multiple offers, it's like that's where you want to be.
That's where you
So
want to be.
not saying that every single house is going to get bid up 15,000 over asking, but it's good to be a little conservative. And they're always like, well, are we leaving money on the table? No. The market will tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
The offers will.
Yeah, I mean, for Jess and I, when we went to sell our house, when we bought this house in September of 2018, I told Jess, I said, listen, we're never going to get over 5 for this house. So we need to be cognizant of the money that we put into it. We need to be cognizant of appliances, finishes, fixtures. We don't want to put too much into it and price us out. This isn't our forever home. We don't want to price ourselves out of the neighborhood and lose money. And so when this whole identifying our dream home happened and we started talking about selling our house, I was like, I would be stoked to get $535 for our house. Just beyond all measure. Never thought it would happen. I mean, I would have been stoked to get $520. I would have been stoked if it started with a 5. I would have been excited.
Yeah.
And I think this says nothing about me as a realtor, but I was like, you know what? We'll list it 535. And people would come to our house, Madison, and she's like, oh no, this house is 6 all day. I'm like, there's no way. Because it was my personal house and we had renovated the whole thing. And I knew, I knew what we paid for it. I knew what we've put into it, but you don't account for the sweat equity that you put into it. You don't account for the tears and the blood and the sweat and the fights and the McDonald's.
Volume 8.
Yeah, and all the things that go into, renovating a house from the studs out.
Yeah, don't do it.
And and I just start looking at numbers, and I look at square footage and price per square foot and in the area. And that's not really an appropriate way to price a house in this market. Because if I would have gone that way, 5 was high. So I showed it to a colleague of ours, and his clients were interested, and I said, I'll sell it to you off market for 540. And his clients came through, and, the house was dialed, ready to go, and they passed. And I said, okay, I was a little bit, perturbed. I was like, dang, that would have been so nice to, not have to go on the market, not have every realtor going through my sock drawer. It'd been great.
Boxers or briefs?
You bet.
I would have been creeping.
You would have. So we listed it. And the day came, and this is again back to kind of the pricing how the market is so volatile right now, especially during COVID-19. And we all thought one thing and something else happened, and it's really unpredictable. But the Friday morning came, and I was like, I'm gonna list at 535. And then I went through the photos, and I went through what was currently on market.
Isn't that crazy? How
and I was like, I went through the photos one more time.
And you're looking at the competition, going,
and I looked at the comps one more time.
What can you buy for 530?
And I was like,
right
you
now?
know what? I think 555 is a good number. I think I'm going to do 555. So I listed it at 555. Again, crickets. And I'm like, oh, I overpriced it.
Yeah.
And it's my own
Just
home.
for a second,
and I'm listening to you, and you're like, it's 6 all day. I'm like, there's no way it's 6. So at 555.
I was just obsessed with your house.
555, that will be great. And so no showings. Starting to get a little bit of anxiety. And we had an offer review date. So,
yikes.
So showings come, showings come, no offers. We get one offer. It's list price. And I'm like, sold. We'll take it.
Yeah.
It's Sunday at 2 p.m. Our offer review date is Tuesday. Where do I sign?
Yeah.
We'll take it. Not risking it.
Yeah.
Sold. I know.
Is that the offer you went with?
God, no.
I was like, oh my God.
No,
this is
I am a
bad
realtor,
story.
and I preach that if you choose a realtor with an R up top of the circle, if you say you are going to have an offer review date, I feel super strongly that you need to respect that.
Yeah, you do.
You chose to do that. That was a decision you made. People plan their lives.
Yeah,
and people
it's kind
plan
of
their
like foot
days.
off the gas for people. You
Yeah.
set the offer review. I was like, oh, I don't have to show this house over the weekend. I can show it on Monday because the offer review's on Monday.
Yeah, and I really do think that you get more showings when you set an offer review date. I personally think this because it allows realtors who otherwise, if you were my buyer and you call me like, hey, I gotta see this house. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm, at dinner in Seattle right now. And you're like, well, it's a review upon receipt. And, they could take an offer right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, let me see if I can get someone else to unlock the door for you. And if
it
you
creates a frenzy.
It creates a complete frenzy. And to be honest, then you get that offer, the first offer for the first person who walks through the door. And now it has an expiration date on
and
it.
You sit for a second almost.
And yeah, it's like, okay, well, I have to respond to this by, 9 p.m. tonight. Well, you've got 25 other people who want to see the house, but haven't gotten a chance to get there yet.
Yeah.
We say that. It still causes a lot of anxiety. I sold my house. I was stressed out. So then, the days come. Tuesday gets here, one offer. I'm like, we have one offer. I knew I overpriced it. Offers due at 2 p.m. 1:30. 10 more offers came in.
Get out of here.
10 more offers.
See what I'm talking about realtor time?
10
it is
more
not...
offers came in. And then I had one that came in
half an hour?
After the cutoff.
Get out.
So sorry, we're running late. What do you mean? You've had all weekend. What's going on?
Yeah. Wow.
So, but back to my original topic, I thought the house was worth $555. We ended up selling it for $591, which was
So I think I'm right.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit
you might
more right than you.
Right.
You
A little bit more right than you.
I owe you a cocktail.
All right, and Miles was a thing that you.
Oh yeah, he went
You went rogue in there.
Oh, when I sold the house?
Like, what was the one thing that you didn't expect? Like,
I
as a
didn't
seller?
expect to A, sell it for that much.
Okay.
B,
I think that's what every seller says.
yeah,
almost
we
right
didn't
now.
expect to sell it for that much. And I didn't expect to feel this, it's like a book, like the dark sadness that I felt once we accepted that offer.
Yeah.
Because once we accepted the offer.
Okay, let's go in here deep.
Yeah, like once we accepted the offer, it became real.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's rewind. And the reason it felt real is because you, like many people, like myself, you went from a house that you dialed the way you wanted it to a house that needed to be dialed the way that you wanted it. And it was more of a project house.
oh, it's a project house
It's
for
a
sure.
Well, he says his is a project house, but he still has a kitchen.
It ain't no project. When
I'm
you're
in
a
the
project.
basement,
I have
and my walls are
mustard
down. So.
yellow wool carpet, volume 10.
All
We'll,
right.
we'll take you guys into our house.
And I'm going to start a petition for your wallpaper because if you remove it, I have at least 20 people who are going to come after you because it's so good.
But I think, it's funny because Jess used to tell me, and I reference him so much because I'm with him every minute of every day. We work together, live together. But he would
Volume 9.
Volume 9. He would always tell me, like, just, you're going to miss this one day. Like, you're going to miss this. You love your neighbors. You are in a great location. You have the sunsets. Your house is gorgeous. Like, but, as a realtor, walking through houses constantly, like, you're always seeing more and you're always visioning more.
Yeah.
And that house sold, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to miss this. My little sister lived 4 houses down. I sold her that house. She was 9 months pregnant and has a 2-year-old. Our neighbors are fantastic.
Yeah, and you never know what you're going to get with
And-
neighbors.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, you
the people who
don't.
bought our house to come in and they were complaining about screens, I was like, you have no idea what you just got. This is the best neighborhood. You have the best neighbors,
Yeah.
the coolest location. Why did I sell this house?
Yeah.
But, and
Yeah.
we all go through it. I mean, even as,
Yeah.
and then you move into your new home and you cry.
Yeah.
And I cried
You-
for days.
I remember that.
Oh, no, I bawled. It wasn't just like little, it was like crocodile tears.
I think people should stop watching HGTV
It's not real life.
because the remodel life, it is hard on your relationship, hard on your, it is just hard. You're trying to work full time so then you can pay for your remodel, but you don't have enough money to fully just hire a GC. So you're also the GC and you're doing everything and you're picking the design, and
Have you ever tried to take a shower while sawdust is flying around?
oh, you don't know about my shower head. It's you turn on my shower head and in the basement, which is where all my stuff is, and outside in my pod, water is seeping out because there's a plumbing leak that we haven't addressed yet.
At least you have
Don't talk to me about shower heads,
At least
okay?
you have water pressure. Oh, yeah.
Oh my
It
God,
is
you guys.
true,
Kids,
though.
kids,
Yeah.
settle down.
I
Yeah.
know. You
It is.
guys.
See, Mom, you actually did it the right way, where you said, you know what? Let's just test the waters. Let's just slow
Yeah.
it. Let's just slow it
Yeah,
down.
I
You
did.
said we're gonna buy the house that we love, and you were in a position of power. So
I know.
not everyone can buy the house that they love and rent out their other house that they also love. But you were able to do that, to be like, okay, we're gonna get in here and we're gonna get comfortable. And it's easier to get comfortable when you know that your other house
Yeah.
is still comfortable.
Yeah.
You still love that
We
house.
love that house.
Yeah.
We love that house. And it's so funny.
It was yours still.
Yeah. It's a funny thing that happens, We were there and we had a great time and it was fabulous. And I reluctantly brought my husband over here. I'm like, this is going to be great. And then we fall in love with this and we're doing some remodeling. Nothing like you guys, but just little bits at a time. And then going back to that house. And it was so interesting because it was so sad when we left. It was exciting, but I understand. I mean, it gets sad,
Yeah.
and people need to know that that's a real thing, and it's okay to feel that way and everything.
Yeah.
But going back, I'm like, you know what? This is not who we are now. This
Yeah.
is a different phase of my life, and I
It's a
really
season.
think about my clients that are like downsizing, and they have all those memories of their family. But I mean, legitimately, like this is Dan and I's house. This is like fun. There's one guest room and there's no kids coming back. Like this is our
It's a
jam.
new chapter. It's a new chapter.
It's a new
You've got this
chapter.
cellar
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're all gonna.
So there is like a little bit of grief of letting something go, but at the same time, it's like joy in what you're having now. But a lot of people that are downsize, upsize. Oh, this was our first home with our kids, we had our first kid here and now we're moving up. I think it's good to just know that there's a huge emotional component that comes with the sale of a house.
You guys, every other day I still do tour day Jesse and Miles through Tacoma at all of our houses. And I'm like, oh, that was our first house.
Oh.
Look at that yard. we planted that hosta.
But how as realtors can we help our clients with that? Like, I don't know. I think it's just something that you acknowledge.
And give them grace.
Yeah, it's grace.
Yeah.
It really just comes down to giving grace and to know that we're here to help you through the fine details of a transaction. And that truly is like why we're employed, is to help them navigate what it looks like to purchase and sell real estate.
Yeah.
But know that like we're also people, and we're
therapists.
We've also bought and sold our own personal homes, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I might make it, come off brass when I'm walking through your home, like, okay, we're gonna get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. But no, deep down, like I've been there, and this lady wanted screens, and I was like, "What do you mean you want?"
I always tell
screens?
people to take out the screens.
What do you want the screens?
I just want the visual.
I'm like, there is a screen guy that you can call, and he will come right to your house and size those for you. You just got the best house and the best
screens in their inspection response.
Yep, the best house in the best neighborhood with the best neighbors.
I had a pre-inspect, so.
Yeah, and I bought my house without an inspection. Chapter 12, don't do it.
Oh, so same. Mine was too. I was like, I'm just gonna blanket this house and say everything's fucking wrong with it. Just like.
But did you think that your water main from your water meter to your house was undersized?
Galvanized. Yeah, no. You've got a nasty thing.
Yeah, I know. It'll be fine. It's all gonna be great.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's all gonna be great.
Zoom in on this.
It's all gonna be great. No, I think.
Yeah. So I think it's fair to say that when you're going through the process, doing the staging, doing the preparation can feel like you're changing the way you live in it to like a retail product, and that is okay, and that's awesome. And if you don't do it, you're missing the boat. You're leaving money on the table.
You're
leaving
Absolutely, 100%.
And it's also when the pricing and looking at what's going on the market. I mean, you're going to lean on your real estate agent, but I think it's normal to maybe second guess things and like either be one way or the other. Like I thought I could get more, or I thought I could get less, but the market will respond and fill in with that. And then it's also on the backside, like when you're going through those inspection negotiations and finishing up, that it's okay to feel like it may feel like a personal attack, even though it's not.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I think people think that realtors have like this magic wand that we look at and we're like, your house is worth $821,500.
If anyone out there sells a crystal ball, I'm kind of interested.
But that's not the way that it works. I mean, honestly, you never know what that person's feeling when they're walking in. You never know if a couple's walking in and the husband doesn't want to move and the wife is forcing him to look at houses, and he's going to be negative about every single thing because he absolutely does not want to move.
And it has nothing to do with your house. It's just
I mean, it really there's so many factors that go into what a house is valued at. And yes, an appraiser will go through and compare it to recent sales, but I mean, it really does come down to the way it smells, the way that it feels, the way it sounds. Like there's so many factors that we try to control, but sometimes things we can't control also affect what you essentially end up getting for your house.
Yeah.
And so I think that's always something important to keep in mind too, because people will compare their houses to other houses, and markets have shifted.
Price per square foot.
Yeah, markets have shifted, and you don't smell your cat, but we smell your cat. So there's, and I just think that there's.
Why are you talking about my cat?
But every time you come to my house, I'm like, do you smell my dogs? Yes or no?
Yeah, no. It's a good thing to be self-aware. Also, one little detail of when we were staging, I love the look of lemons on a table. Okay, we love lemons.
Fake lemons.
No, I actually had real lemons.
They get fruit flies.
I know, but I didn't have fruit flies. Okay, it was in March. But I put the lemons on the table, and then this is when we were not getting as many showings or any offers yet. And then Steven was leaving, and our friend Ashley was like, girl, like she watched some Real Housewives, and she was like, that you have to have 9 lemons. It's bad.
No, 9 is bad.
No, it's 9. 9 lemons. That's what she told me. I don't know. There was 10.
You said you had
No, there was 10. There was
Alright.
10 in our
You can never have an even number. Ever.
We needed 9. So
In
I told
anything
Steven,
in
I was
life.
like, you better run back in there and you better grab that lemon. And he did. And then,
Yeah.
then we got a couple
Every
offers.
morning
Then
at
we got
5 a.m., I'd go to the house and I'd vacuum the carpets to make sure that the vacuum lines were just perfect.
Yeah, you're psycho.
things
That's
we
okay.
do.
Actually, we both have like Ring doorbells. And I didn't want to be one of those sellers, but I always preface my buyers, okay, we're walking up to a house. This is not vacant and stage. I can see the Ring doorbell. I'm out on the street. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say the seller's probably listening, even
Yeah,
though I hope
let's
that
just
they
keep
aren't.
it quiet.
Like, they're supposed to disclose that, but like, we're just going to only point out nice things. We're not going to talk strategy, negotiation numbers, nothing.
Yeah, never.
Because they could even have cameras on the inside. But I was creeping on my Ring. I was like, okay, they're in the backyard, Steven. Like, check it out. I was listening. I'm like, God.
Oh,
I'm that
I have no comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no
So-
comment.
Again,
So should we wrap this
say
up?
I have
that-
no comment on what my husband was doing while our house was on the market.
Yeah.
It's good to get. It's always good to just see perspective from get in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
See what someone else is feeling.
100%.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a.
So we need to buy and sell our houses like every other year.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Not.
Yeah.
Let's just talk for a minute because you guys, I've seen the way you guys live, and you guys live pretty minimally. And I come from a long line of people who hang on and have emotional attachment to stuff, right? So in moving to this house, it was like I felt like I was being decisive about stuff, but then we ended up with a whole bunch of stuff. But let's talk a little bit about that, like getting rid of things and.
If
What that
anyone
looks
needs
like.
me to come over to their house, I am brutal.
She is.
I'm like, what is
but I think
this?
it's
Like,
good to have somebody like that in your life if
Yeah.
you're not that way, because I am more of an emotionally attached. So,
and
I need
it's
like
not
a Madison.
It's not wasteful. It's what is the purpose of this? Tell me when you've last used this. No. It's out. Like, do you know what this is? Like some of those kitchen utensils, just anything. Like,
Listen, this is way easier said than done, you guys.
I know
No,
that's the
Because
thing. That's
no,
not for
it-
me.
Okay, Madison.
It's
it for
for her.
sure is.
I'm just
No,
like throwing it in the
stop.
back.
She's been like that since she was a child.
No,
Miles.
because- No, the thing
memorabilia?
is-
What is memorabilia? I
would
don't
throw
even have
pictures
it. I don't
away.
have my baby
haven't-
blankets.
Okay,
I don't
so
have my
I
anything.
have never had any sentimental value to anything. It is just an item. The sentimental value is in my mind, not attached, not associated with that particular item until I got married. And now, for some reason, everything that we acquired
Whoa.
during an experience now has some stupid sentimental value.
So you keep it.
So I keep it.
I think
Like,
that might
why?
happen to me when I have kids, but
Why?
not sure.
Like I have this
Not sure.
stupid wooden box that I could build in 2 seconds with a metal handle and 4 mason jars. Nothing special about it at all whatsoever. Does not go with our house. It's totally farmhouse. We have a mid-century contemporary. Like, doesn't match
Throw
at
it
all.
out. Throw it
Gotta
out.
go. But you know what? On the first trip that Jess and I went together on, he took me to Magnolia in Waco because I was obsessed.
Are you crying now?
And he bought me this stupid planter. And he's like, pick something to take home, like whatever you want, anything. I was like, well, I gotta be able to like put it in the truck, and this is what I'll take. I like this. I've never even used this stupid thing. I've never even put flowers in the vases, but mason jars, not even vases. But I won't
You
get
don't
rid
look
of it.
like
I
a mason jar
refuse.
sort of guy.
I refuse to get rid of it. And every day he's like, just get rid of it. I'm like, I can't. I won't. I shan't.
I think I was reincarnated as Marie Kondo or something like.
I know.
I'm like, does it bring you joy today, right now? Is this who you are?
That
Even
does help for me.
I'm thinking about my heels. I pull them out because of COVID, and like I've got some beautiful heels. I used to work at Nordstrom. Used to sell
This
designer
girl
shoes.
has the best shoes in the planet.
But I whipped them out, and I was like, does this bring you joy? No, it pisses me off because when am I going to wear these heels again? Don't know. Almost considered getting rid of them. So I probably need help the other way, but if anyone needs my help, I'm here.
Will you come to my
I'm here for
closet?
you.
Because I like to collect graphic tees.
Oh. If I see any pill balls or pit stains, I'm like, Mom, it's out.
I have so many tees. So many tees in all the colors.
Volume 11. Like we're just.
All the colors.
I think people are over this. We need to wrap
Yeah, we need to wrap
We
it
probably
up.
need to
But
wrap
I
it up.
just think, the main message is that we've been there. We've felt the feels. We've
Yeah.
gone through the process.
Yeah.
We know that it's not easy. And at some point, there was times in my transaction that I wish that I had a realtor, someone, realtor, someone to be like, hey, you got to do this. Like, this looks better.
This is the right
This
thing.
is the right thing to do. Like, box that up, put that away.
That's why you reached out to friends who were in the business.
Like, I
'cause
emotionally
you have to separate it out.
threw myself through the ringer. Like, I can keep this. Like, I love this piece. I think it looks so good there. And Madison walked in and she'd be like, why is that fuzzy ottoman in this house? And I was like, oh, but I really love it. She's like, it's got to go.
It's a mid-century contemporary.
The fuzzy ottoman's got to go. So I think that, there was times that I wish that I had that voice that was beside me to be like, hey, remember, this is not personal. This is a process that you are going through, and this is a stage in your life where you are trying to make a change.
Yeah.
And I'm here to help you make that change as fruitful as possible. So these are the guidance that I'm going to give to you. This is the guidance I'm going to bestow upon you. And, you truly are our best interest. Like, we have the best interest for you, and it's not that we don't like your design, but it really is. We've seen this every single day over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and we know what gets high price points and what gets low price points, and like what people love and what they don't love.
And when we talk about days on market, when we're talking about all of our stresses and our anxieties, I'm talking 7 days on the market. This is not a lot. So all of the things that are stressful are what we're doing before we list your property.
Yeah.
Because when you're on, and it's hot and it's fast and it's quick. So you have to be looking your best before. And sometimes that takes 5 days in my case, or it takes 3 months, or we work with sellers for over a year where it takes them that long to pack their stuff to realize their value in the market. So do all the things before, because it's really, the market's going to speak right away, and we want you up here.
Yeah. I mean, Reg, you've worked with people who are contemplating selling their homes. What would you say about someone who was like twirling the idea of listing their house?
Yeah.
As far as like reaching out to a realtor now, waiting until they're really ready.
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
It's very interesting because we've had some people that are very close to us that have just reached out and are thinking about that. And it's just, here's the thing, right now in this time in our lives, things are so different. And I've been in the business for 15 years, so I've lived through the crash. I started in the business, the crash happened. All my first buyers, I was like, okay, here's what your house is worth. Sorry, so sorry. It was just that thing. And then, everything, we're back up in Pierce County. Our statistical median is way above what it was even in the August 2007 was our peak. So it's a great investment. It's a great thing, but I think that you can only look at the now market. Mm-hmm. And right now, just what's ahead? I mean, I think that Pierce County is going to be strong just because some of the things that are happening in King County and the work from home, and we still have such a better value in our marketplace, and you can get so much more in a home down here than you can there. So I feel like we're going to stay strong, but there's no insulation from pandemics and politics and things that are going on. So I think that people just really, and fires. So I think people really need to make the best decision looking at the now numbers and right at this moment, not looking at what's going to be. Right. Like our normal selling season because of COVID was completely different than it has been in the last 4 years. Those trends were bucked. So it's just like you have to look at it now. What can you get? Where do you want to be? And make those decisions based on the now market and not have this thing like, oh, the spring's going to be the time. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think that we all understood that pace too, which is why I was like, I'm putting my house on in 5 days. Because you don't know. Like we can look at the numbers and we can tell you, okay, based on this, for about like 30 days, maybe. But like past that, you don't like.
No, I mean, when we were looking, think back to November of 2019 when we were looking at projections for 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not true. The world has changed.
The world has changed.
The world has changed. And our projections, whether they went up or down from what we thought, they're completely skewed.
They are completely skewed.
And that was just 90 days of change.
Yeah.
If this is, I think, what we've been through this past 8 months is anything, it's just really the fact that like you can try to predict, you can try to forecast, but anything can happen. I mean, when COVID happened, Jess came into the day that they said real estate
We're going to shut her down.
Shutting her down. Jess came, I was still in bed.
Yeah.
Jess came in, he goes, give me your credit cards, give me your checkbooks, give me your debit cards. Do you have any cash? Do you have any cash? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, we're shutting her down, battening up the hatches. Like we were really preparing to be like,
yeah, same.
Whoa, okay, so you're in construction, I sell real estate.
See you later.
The economy is no one's working. Like, okay, this is it.
What is going to happen?
Here we go again.
Yeah.
And we're a really unique generation because we were old enough when '08 happened to recognize what it did to our families and recognize how it impacted the world. And now here we are as 30-year-olds just peaking in our career. And I was like, it's happening again. Like, we're the only generation that had this happen twice.
Or will it?
Luckily, we were in real estate, though, because contrary to what all we thought, the market in Pierce County has been nuts.
It's been so good.
But for who knows how long. And
Yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah.
That's why I'm like, I am peeling my eyes open, like close up on these bad boys. But like, I'm not sleeping. Like, I'm not doing me. I'm not living lulls. Like, I'm not doing the fun things I wish I was doing because I'm like, I don't know how long I can work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work.
Yeah.
So we're going to
until
work
I
right
can't
now.
work no more.
I think as a realtor, like, my fear is that it's going to catch up. It's going to catch up.
Yeah.
The interest rates are going to go up. Who knows?
I mean, nobody wants to operate from fear, but since you've lived through, you have to be realistic in things.
Yeah.
And like and I know you didn't, like when COVID happened and like things shut down, it was not like, okay, we're going to find ourselves and meditate and do all the things.
To learn how to knit.
And slow down and stuff. It was a
hobby.
little bit of that, but it was a lot of working really, really, really hard to try to keep deals together that were just going crazy and
Everyone
couldn't
was
be
losing their jobs. No contractors
and
could come
then
out
it was
and
just
fix
like
things.
May happened and it was just like, what the heck? It's like everyone trying to get in their house before the next wave of craziness happened, right?
And that's operating from fear. I think that's what it is. It's like, even with doing a remodel right now, it's like, who knows when like China's going to stop shipping the fridge you want out. Like, let's go. Like it's.
Yeah. I'm no economist and I don't try to be, and I don't want to be, but I think the market that we've seen in the residential world since February has really been a fear-based market. Fear that the interest rates are going to go back up.
Yeah.
Fear that we're never going to see these rates again. Fear that we'll never be able to sell our house if we don't sell it right now. So I'm interested to see what the next 6 months are going to bring.
Yeah.
Please don't ask me to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah,
because I have no idea.
I know.
But one day at a time, and I think that's kind of how everyone collectively right now is taking life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way we can do it.
Yeah.
So that's
Just
where we're
this day. Just this
at.
day.
Just this day. Today, right here.
I feel
Christmas
like I
happening
want to
today.
cheers to that.
Yeah. And
Day
being
by
now,
day.
just this day, guys.
Just this
Just
day.
this
All right.
day.
We
Cheers.
hope that from this live stream, you gathered a nugget of knowledge or inspiration, or it's inspired a question.
If you want to know how to fold your toilet paper, pop into my DM.
we are here for
Madison
you.
can declutter your house. So
Yeah. But
make
anyway,
sure.
we appreciate any time you've given us, and hopefully we have answered questions or made you think of things. But we're here for you. Yeah.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Yeah.
Toodaloo.
Cheers.